It's nice to see you, Bullhorn Betty. We'll see if Delilah works in here. She's been whimpering a lot, so I'm gonna try to do this in the in the kitchen. But I have a funny feeling that she's going to be complaining here in just a little bit. She's so adorable. She's snuggled up to me most of the day. I gotta tell you, what a day. I woke up ridiculously early, like 4 a.m. She had to go potty. And it's one of those things where if you wake up, you just don't go right back to sleep, you know? And so I didn't go back to sleep, and I've been up, and finally about 2:30 this afternoon, I was so stinking tired, absolutely tired, that I snuggled to lay down to take a nap, and she was too cute. And of course, I slept for like maybe, I don't know, 30 minutes. You know, you're hoping for like a 2 hour, and it's not. It's just like 30 minutes. It's like you just long enough for you to fall asleep and realize you're asleep and wake back up again. Me and you, Emma, Brenda, Big Mac Mike up in the house. It's nice to see you, Autumn, Kendra. Hello, guys. Cinda, it's nice to see you. Monica, hey, guys. Hey, Ginger, it's nice to see you. Sadie, Brenda, I've got, you know what? I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it's you. I can't remember, but I've got your little note here. I got to look, but I got Tony's. Tony's. It's there. Oh, Mr. and Mrs. Car Guy. It's nice to see you, Bobby, Melissa, Stacy, Candace. It's nice to see you. Nobody special. You're always special up in here. Mel B, Ginger, Chevy Paw, it's nice to see you. Tara Ann, Cheyenne, good evening. You know, before we get started on the topic of conversation, Phil, Lori, hey guys, it's nice to see you. I kind of like the 5-day thing, you know. We don't have as much chaos, Lady 7 Up. It's nice to see you. We just don't have a lot of chaos in here. Maybe it'll come, but we block them and then they're gone for at least, 5 days. Right? So it's helping. I feel like it's helping the mods out, guys. Remember, it's a privilege to be in my chat. It's not a right. If Seth, I did a post. I don't know who it is. I'm so sorry if you didn't mean for it to be snarky, but you might have to reach out to me by email because I don't know who you are. But somebody said when I talked about the loan thing, I thought they were talking about me. Maybe they were. But then I thought, what if it wasn't? What if they said it was pathetic for the lone little, thing? Oh, thank you, Cinda. Welcome to this crazy group we call the Coffee Club, right? And so I saw that on my, she's got one loan. It's about the Queeby, hearing. I kind of lost all my emotions. We're all Hail Marys, I was hoping that they would be in the judge's discretion. He said they weren't. But the main thing was trying to make sure the counts didn't go through. And so if that was you and you weren't saying I was pathetic and I unintentionally blocked you, then please reach out to me because I don't want anybody being unintentionally blocked. But I can't remember who it was, and I want to make sure that that person is unblocked. If you're here, you probably watch me consistently. So if that was you, you know who you are that made that post. I'm sorry, but I did block you. I just get too frustrated with people on here because we get trolled a lot, right? So the whole team is on overdrive because we're tired of the bullying. We're tired of the nastiness, and we're keeping that from me and you, right? None of us want to hear it. They have their own channels to complain and moan and groan and everything else. They don't need to be over here. I think it's very unhinged to be over here waiting 5 days to make one snarky comment. Like, that's just mental illness is written all over that, right? Am I blocked? Wonderwolf? No, not yet. Rooster Guy blocked me. Now, I don't know who that is. I don't watch a lot of people, I really don't. So it's like, and everybody is just ganging up on Seth, and I'm just tired of it. You know what? If you guys want to go listen to that nonsense and be manipulated and lied to, then keep going over there because that man has his crew, right? J for J, JLR, Chloe, SF, all that whole toxic gang of people that keep trying to push stuff out that isn't true, right? And when are we going to find out it isn't true? Probably in a few months, right? All this smashing, all this bashing, all this horrible content to hurt an innocent father is disgusting and deplorable. At some point, the community has to take a stand. We want legit information. We want true crime information. We don't want this made up crap that's just, I mean, what is it? It's entertainment. It's not even news because it's a flat out lie. This stuff I'm hearing is awful. I heard that they are plastering civil suit. I civilly sue people, right? I've had, let's see, they try to say I'm a serial suer, but that's completely untrue because let's look at who I've sued. I've sued two content creators, both that were absolutely despicable. One I only got for $500 just to knock it off. Well, that person didn't knock it off, just went behind the scenes and started doing dirty. And then I'm going after this one to make an example, right? Because this is overboard. This is beyond disgusting what this content creator is working with others to do to me. And then I have civil suits with like GM and an automobile wreck and another automobile wreck. And all the so I've sued and I have been sued, right? Remember my ex-husband's credit card where they sent that beer can to my court hearing. They're not stalking me, right? They just send people to my hearing. They send people to yell and shout stuff from at my house. I'm a private person. I'm not a public case. They have no knowledge of the law whatsoever. And there's different rules for public people and private people. If you don't know that yet, let me tell you, there are different rules and different standards for public citizens, public people, public cases than there are for private citizens. And so they're trying to apply public people to a private person. That's where their problem lies right there. I'm a private citizen. I'm not a public person. All I do is run a YouTube channel and a TikTok channel and talk about true crime. That does not rise to the level of a public person. Okay, you're talking about celebrities. Those are public people. Politicians. Those are public people. Okay, Bullhorn Betty is a private citizen. So, people need to learn the law. They need to learn the law. Before we get started on our topic of conversation, which we're all, from this point forward, I'm demanding SETH be cleared. I don't trust Sumner County. You guys know I don't trust Sumner County. I've had a front row seat of the policing and the incompetence of Sumner County. So we're going to be demanding clear SETH. Oh, thanks, Ren. God bless you. 5 gifted Bullhorn memberships. It's nice to see you guys. Ren also says smash that like button. Thank you. God bless you. But we haven't talked about the Idaho 4 in a really long time. We haven't talked about Crystal Rogers in a really long time. I want to get updates on those two cases before we move on. We know Leilani is going to court starting October 7th. I think it's for voir dire, whatever. People say it tomato, right? Then we have the trial that I believe is being kicked off on October 9th. October 9th is when this is being kicked off. And I would like to be there, but, with courts and all this other stuff, we'll see how the schedule works out and if it will be a possibility of me getting there by the 7th. I'm working on legal paperwork now. Hopefully, I can get this all done. And, I've got a couple things coming up on the schedule and what have you. So this is kind of where we're at, personally. So we'll be covering now. Many of you guys know Quentin Simon is the 20-month-old child that was abused from the time he was born to his date of death at the hands of his mother. For whatever reason, his mother really just did not like this kid, never had the nurturing part with him. She blamed him for something, and what I believe she blamed him for is the fact that her mom slept with her boyfriend, the father of her son, Bubba Moss, because there were some indications up front about this weird relationship or something like that. And I think she took that pain out on her son, because it sounded like Quentin Simon, although the middle child, got the brunt of all the abuse that she had. And many people believe that she, because she was also on substances and other things, and many people were trying to give her an easy way out and say, oh, she must have just been really, under the influence and let him drown in the tub or let him walk out to the pool. And I'm thinking, this is a common occurrence with this woman in this household. If that was going to be the case, it would have happened a while ago. And then we started learning from the neighbors that there was this abuse, major abuse, to this young child. He wasn't even 2 years old, and he's already had black eyes. He's already been hit so hard by his mother, he fell backwards and hit his head on concrete. It's really, really, significant. And so I took the bold statement and argued with a lot of people about, no, this is not a simple drowning. This is abuse. This woman unalived her son by her hands. And so that's what we have learned be the case, that she unalived this boy by her hands. And it wasn't, negligent. It was willful. It went too far, and it was at her hands. Thank you, Nick. Thank you so much. Slation, it's nice to see you. Kendra, I don't know if I said hi to you. Thank you, guys. So that is the case. We went out there because she was named as a suspect early on, and law enforcement wanted to keep her out of jail while she was around other children. Now, you guys know Bullhorn Betty, and that is an injustice if I've ever heard it. An absolute, utter injustice. And she needed to be in jail as soon as they had her as a suspect. They knew that Quentin was in that landfill. When they found him in the landfill, it took them really like 5 weeks to finally put the handcuffs on her. That was bullcrap, right? That was bullcrap. And so we fought for him because his family would not. And we did daily lives in front of their location on public property. It didn't get really crazy until the hate channel started sending people out to the location. And law enforcement did not separate those people from us. And it started getting hostile, where Dolly ended up going to jail unjustly. But he ended up going to jail. And they were going to keep him overnight, and we had to basically protest the sheriff's department to let him out, which they did. It was all fine. We were just talking in the camera, holding up signs, waving justice for Quentin, just normal stuff, not bothering any. I mean, of course, it is, it is a gathering. It is an assembly, a peaceful assembly. But it wasn't until we started going after the politicians and started saying that you need to fire the mayor if he's the one that appointed this Yahoo, right? And then all of a sudden, the signs, when it starts getting political and people might lose their jobs, next thing you know, rights are being violated, right? Rights are being violated. So they tried to put a no loitering sign on a public roadway. It was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous. Some of these counties we go into are ridiculous. But again, we pushed back, right? We were there, and they wanted to try to get me to move. They try to say I'm a parade. I'm like, there's 3 people here. I don't think this constitutes a parade in any legal standard. And so we had to argue, but they let us stay. They let us continue our work. And we left when we said we were going to leave. That was probably the only one outside of this one that got crazy. And you know why it got crazy? Once again, the hate channels thought that it was a good idea to waste taxpayer resources. Remember, they used to say that we did that, and call in by the hundreds, right? To try to break something up because law enforcement doesn't have a child to look for. No, they need to deal with some petty YouTube crap. So this has been going on for quite some time, where these hate squads are utilizing law enforcement resources when they're already at the brink of their resources, because they're looking into a high profile case that requires a lot of resources and money. And they think it's a good use of those county funds to send them out because I'm talking into my camera. They're idiots. Okay? We'd have never done that to anyone. They can never say, well, look at Betty. Well, I ain't never done that shit. I ain't never tried to take a channel. I ain't never tried to silence somebody. Right? Queen Bee wanted to talk about me. She could have. But she didn't try to do that. She tried to destroy me. She tried to financially destroy me. When that didn't work, she incited her audience to attack me and drive around my house and keep me under surveillance, online and offline. There's a big difference here. It's not just words. It's going real life. That's why she's in court with me. We don't silence people. I believe in the freedom of press. I believe in the freedom, First Amendment rights. I just don't have to listen to it on my channel. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. So let's go to Bryan Kohberger. There's been a fight in the Bryan Kohberger case where the defense attorney kind of thinks that there's mob mentality in little old Moscow, Idaho. Now, first of all, I've been to Moscow, Idaho. I was there for 2 separate trips, a total of 2 solid weeks, doing work, investigative work there, as well as commentary. And we went in there because there was a lot of law enforcement, a lot of kids that were involved. Many of you know this touched my heart. One Kaylee Gonzalez followed Chronicles of Olivia, and Chronicles of Olivia in my work is what she was following at the time. And so it caused her father to reach out to Chronicles of Olivia, which we got an opportunity to have a very, very good interview. Olivia started the interview, and she was starting to have camera problems, and so I kind of took over the interview and walked everybody through this process. It was a very good interview. We kept it victim focused, as we keep a lot of our content here is victim focused. We didn't get into, because in all fairness, we didn't believe it was one of the kids, and literally as soon as I pulled up, I think it was November 23rd, it was just a few days after this happened. We pull up in front of the house. It's freezing cold. And as soon as I saw, thank you, Barbosa, 5 Bullhorn Betty memberships. Don't forget to say thank you. Hey, JH, hola. As soon as I pulled up, the very first thing I did is walk around the house, because that's, they have like the road, and it kind of does this U shape behind the house, so we parked our car, media was already set up. And one of the very first things I did was set up my tripod, and I walked the area. I walked the area to see what it looked like behind the house, on the side of the house, the access points, where we thought Bryan Kohberger, well, we didn't know who it was at the time, went into the house. I personally thought it was a window. I didn't know it was the sliding glass door until much later. But as soon as I got there and looked at that house and looked at the design of the house, I knew immediately it wasn't one of the children. I don't know why, but I went up to Olivia and I just told her point blank, I said, this is somebody we're not even talking about. It was just the vibe that I got from the house. That's why it's so important for me to be boots on the ground, right? Believe it or not, it does guide me. And as soon as we got there, I knew that it wasn't one of their friends. Their friends are goofy, they're stupid, not stupid in that sense, but they do stupid shit, And but they're just goofy, they do college stuff. Hey, B Betty, it's nice to see you. Sasha, Brittany, Pink, it's nice to see you. And so I'm just sitting there thinking, it feels different. Like, we get a clear guidance. Oh, this is an ex-boyfriend. We learn stuff. But after going around there, after seeing everything, after previewing everything, I knew that everybody was looking in the wrong location for the suspect. I knew it immediately. It was one thing that I didn't do. I didn't go into accusing Jack or the Jakes or, all the people that many people were pointing the fingers at. I didn't do that, because there was just something different about this. And not only that, it kind of touched a personal nerve for me because I have a young sister that went to a university, and she's just a few years older than them. And so it was a little personal for me. And I know they're friends. I felt bad pointing the finger at these young kids and saying, oh, you did this, right? Because there wasn't really a whole lot of supporting information. There just wasn't. But I'm glad we kept that front and center. But one of the main reasons why we went there on the 23rd was to calm other parents down, because there were still kids in the school. I was reading all of the Facebook groups. I was feeling bad for the parents. They were scared half out of their mind with their children still in school, and the potential of having a madman on the loose on a campus. So one of the main things we did was driving around showing, anybody that was previewing our live streams, the amount of law enforcement out there. I figured that if we could just show them how well protected the area is, how much law enforcement is out there, that maybe it'll just calm some of their nerves a little bit like that. And it was our second trip. Our second trip, we went out there, and it was really specifically because we got the interview with the Gonzalez family, and we wanted to do some more investigation in the case now that we had a little bit more information. The white Elantra was a big thing, that's when we went back at that time. We had the interview with the Gonzalez in Coeur d'Alene, and then, they invited us the next day back to the celebration of life. And they had already known us. They had already known our work. They knew that we weren't bashing the kids, bashing her ex-boyfriend that she was absolutely still in love with. Her mom absolutely believes that he would have been the father of her grandchildren. They were very much in love, even though they were broke up. It goes with relationships. It goes with any strong relationship. When you're first in love, you have some ups and downs in the relationship. You break up, you get back together. You may see somebody in between, but you guys gravitate back to each other, and that really was the sentiments. Not only that, it sounds like Steve, the father of Kaylee, checked that boy's body from head to toe. And there wasn't any signs of a violent struggle of any kind. It was hard. It was hard hearing their stories. It was even harder at the end, which wasn't captured on that recording, was when we learned that Katie and Maddie their ashes were in the boxes on the top. They were waiting for the urns to come in. But the box, and they were still together. And even telling you guys this, I'm getting goosebumps. It was just something about it. I literally had to leave the house. I had to walk right out because tears just started rolling down my face. Very unprofessional. They're the ones that have the deceased children, right? And I'm here like a blubbering mess. So I kind of excused myself from the home to clean myself up and come back. It was just very emotional for me. And fast forwarding to the next day, Brian Koberger was named. We all went to the vigil the memorial knowing that the parents didn't have to shake the murderer's hand. And that was their biggest fear, is somebody going there, looking them in their eyes, hugging them, or shaking their hand, and it being the person that took away their child. So that was a little relief for them, and I'm sure it was a relief for all the kids that were being accused of these horrible acts, these just deranged lunatic acts. And that's what I'm going to call them, and why I didn't believe it was any of them, because you can kind of tell, this wasn't a loner. Their friends are outgoing, they're funny, they're, vivacious, they do stupid stuff. They're normal kids at a university from everything I could assess. Brian Koberger was arrested. He ended up being extradited back to the area right after we left. We were there until New Year's, and he came back, I believe, January 4th of 2023. maybe it was 2023, because I think we're almost 2 years. It was 2022 when this happened. And so there's been a lot of struggle since he's been back with the team. He's got a pit bull for a defense attorney. Ancy Taylor is very, very well accomplished in these types of cases and very knowledgeable about the process and challenging everything, which she has been doing. She's been very, very tenacious on that. She wants to change the venue. And it's a little crazy because we were talking about venue change when we were there in January or in December. It might have been December, might have been November. I can't remember. I have to go back and look at the dates of the videos. But I remember going in front of the Moscow courthouse, and one of the conversations was this change of venue. She's saying that there's mob mentality and that he's not going to get a fair trial in Moscow, and that the level of people coming in there is going to be overwhelming. I'm paraphrasing here, take it for what you will, but that's basically what she's saying. And I have to disagree with the whole mob mentality thing. I don't think anybody's going to be there or try to punch him or hurt him or whatever she says that they're going to do. I don't know. But I have to believe that they are probably going to rule to move it to Ada County. And there's a lot of reasons for it. I do truly believe Moscow courthouse is entirely too small for the type of case that they have. There's going to be a lot of media probably from all over the world. People talk about this being a national case. I don't know. This is going to be, we already know the popularity of this particular case just by the books and the movies that have already, or the documentaries that have already come out. Hey, Cheeky Chops, it's nice to see you. The Real Me Too, Stephanie, hey. So we know how the popularity, even people over in the UK, I did a documentary over in the UK, right? So, or for the UK, so of this case. So we definitely have worldwide interest in this case. So I have to imagine that there's going to be a worldwide audience at his trial. You're talking about a lot of mainstream media, a lot of social media, alternative media, independent media. You're going to have all of that out there. And I think Ada County really is more appropriate. And I just kind of feel, in light of this case, that it would probably be, and I think the judge is going to most likely agree, it's probably better to have the trial over in Boise, Idaho. I'm not opposed to that. This is kind of normal stuff. It's normal stuff because of the significant popularity, the worldwide case. With Quentin Simon, that case would have died out. And nobody would have really known about this child or what had happened had it not been for social media, because the media out there does not keep track of this case. They let it go by the wayside. They don't care. That's what I don't like about mainstream media and why I do the job that I do independently. It's because I don't trust mainstream media. And it's not that I don't trust the reporters and the people that are out there with boots on the ground. It's their bosses. It's the boardrooms. I don't trust them because they have a dog in the fight. And that's what I don't want. Mainstream media should allow the reporters to report the freaking news as they see fit. No constraints, no restraints. This is the news. This is media. We have freedom of the press. Why these companies and news organizations are not using it properly, I don't know. But they're becoming lap cats. And I don't like it. I don't like it at all. They're not doing any investigative journalism anymore. They're not diving into these cases. Remember Susan Smith? Remember all the media surrounding it? Now, those media, they went after. They knocked on doors. They had shoe leather investigative reporting being done in the Susan Smith. That was back in the 1990s. Now we fast forward to 2024 and we got lazy reporters. Lazy. They're lazy. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. That's why I do what I do. So that's kind give my commentary on that. I know people have been talking about the Brian Koberger case and the change of venue. I thought I would give my commentary on it, just a little wee bit, but at the end of the day, we've covered a lot of true crime cases. We've saw the best. I think that was one of the best policing I've ever seen, in all fairness, out of all of the cases I've covered. Moscow might be a small outfit, but they got it. They got it. They kept everything close to the vest. We were looking left while they were working right. They did everything right. They kept the media, with information. They kept the public with constant information. They did everything the way policing is supposed to be. Did they make mistakes? Of course, everybody makes mistakes. Okay, I don't put this superhuman, power or image when it comes to our law enforcement, because they're human beings. Human beings by nature make mistakes and errors. So was everything perfect? No. But they did the policing perfectly, right? They did the community policing perfectly. I wish a lot of police departments and sheriff's departments would take note of how they handled their high profile case and how they were able to effect an arrest on the suspect, because I really think, he was literally, nobody was thinking of this guy. Nobody would have thought that a PhD student in criminology would be capable of something like this. They had a needle in the haystack, and they executed everything correctly. Were mistakes made? I'm sure there were behind the scenes that we'll never know about, but at the end of the day, they executed perfectly, in my opinion. I wish people would take notice of that. And as well as our sheriff, Polk County Sheriff, Grady Judd is an amazing policeman. He has strategic, they by far have some of the lowest, I wouldn't say lowest homicide rates, but lowest unsolved rates. They do very, very well with their criminal unit and criminal detectives. They definitely have it right. He's always a very transparent person. He never lies to the public. He's very direct. He keeps everybody informed. Another great example of proper policing, right? Now we're going to fast forward over to Sebastian Rogers' case, the 15-year-old autistic boy that disappeared from his home in Hendersonville, Tennessee. From everything we learned from the live this morning of an interview on Smiley's World, that all the doors and windows were locked. And it's very perplexing how this boy left without a trace. No scent, no shadowy image on a video, no shoes, barefoot, without a jacket or a throw for their arms, no gaming system when he's autistic and that's his best friend, no food for a growing bouncy boy that's a bottomless pit hungry, no money to take a taxi, a ferry, get on a bus, just left with the clothes on their back and evaporated inside the home. It's very perplexing. We've learned in that same interview, as of March 20th, not one stitch of fingerprints or forensic testing was done inside the home when you have a missing child that isn't found. By that time, by the March 20th time, according to another interview, or another rumor, I should say, I can't remember where I saw it. At this time, law enforcement had already provided the possibility of Sebastian's fate to all of the parents. Okay? Law enforcement has been forthcoming with at the beginning with these parents and told them that it's most likely he's gone. That is the rumors that I heard. Again, I don't know who told me that. I don't know where I heard it. It was so long ago, but I did hear it. And of course, we didn't talk about it because at the end of the day, we are trying to locate a boy. A father believes his boy is still out there, still healthy, still findable. I believe he's findable, you know? But at this point, we're at 6 months in. It's hard for me. We're still going to keep going down the path that we can find him safe and sound. But we also have to look at the path that we're not going to. And that has led me to mapping, right? Looking at the maps, seeing what areas are out there. I've spoke to a lot of military personnel, Army, Navy, Marines. I've talked to a lot of people that serve in the military to try to get the military mindset. I spoke to a lot of parents and grandparents by email and otherwise to understand autism, to understand what makes Sebastian tick, so to speak, to find out whether or not we, would he even leave the house at that time of night without anything? And my assessment is no. My assessment is no. He didn't like bugs. He didn't like dirt. You've got a stepfather saying, well, if he went out the window and as soon as he touched that mulch, he would be screaming. That should have been our first clue. That came out of their mouth. I didn't concoct that. Came out of their mouth. And then to hear about the lights from the neighbors, to hear about the unknown car, to hear about the light sources going to the unknown car, hearing about the one light source leaving the unknown car while the other light source drove in the car. I mean, these are very specific things. We saw a vehicle. There is a vehicle there. We have lights going to that vehicle. Why are people still on? It's a trash truck. What? It's a trash truck. So I don't believe it's a trash truck because we have confirmation that the car, after the light sources went to it, left. That doesn't sound like those light sources were a trash truck because we have a car leaving the area after those lights. Then if we back up, several hours before, we're hearing that another neighbor with cameras that, I don't know if it's outdoor cameras or if it's just a Ring doorbell camera, because you have several different kind, like the security lights, independent, just one-offs, like the one that picked up the unknown car and the lights. That's not a Ring doorbell camera. It's like a tube light, like camera. It attaches to the cement, and you can kind of move the thing where you want it, and then it's stationary, right? It doesn't move, but it's not a Ring doorbell. It seems like it's just a standard camera that's being backed up on a hard drive somewhere type of camera. So we have all types of cameras. What type of camera picked up the lights from inside the home? Because it was very clear that the lights inside, because Sebastian's bedroom is on the front side of the house with the front door and another room that I would believe maybe a dining room or something like that. I'm not sure what would be in that area, but it's not his room. It's another window in the house. I'd have to think like a living room maybe, or no, because the living room's kind of in the middle. I don't know what's in that room, okay? But there's another room and another window on the front side of the house. And so this camera had picked up Sebastian's light going on around 9:30, going off, I don't know when, going back on, going back off. Finally at 11:30, the light goes off permanently in that room for the night. You see a hazy figure walking through the house, going to the back bedroom, which I'm presuming is the mom's and dad's room. Then it is described that the house goes completely dark. Completely dark, right about between 11:30 and 12 midnight. Completely dark. Many people believe, based upon what she's describing, what Miss Bobby's describing, they believe maybe a breaker was turned off. You know, that's an assessment. That's a theory. There's no evidence to support whether a breaker was turned off. We can only go by the description that is described by Miss Bobby. And that was right before, you know, a few hours before this vehicle pulls up. It was stated that the vehicle pulled up, was there 3 to 5 minutes. Now, most people don't think much about that, but 3 to 5 minutes is a really long time. You know, if you guys sit, I mean, we could do it in silence if you want to, but, you know, start your phone. I want you, when we get off this live, I want you to be in silence, and I want you to time 5 minutes and just sit there, right? Sit there for the entire 5 minutes. It's a long time, okay? You can do a lot in 5 minutes. So I find that odd that there would be these light sources that we're being told are garbage trucks being seen going to a clear car. I mean, there is an image of a vehicle right there. Okay, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We see the lights turn on this car, like somebody just unlocked it with a clicker. Okay? So we see the lights come on. We see these 2 spots go to the car or the vehicle. I truly believe is a full-size SUV. I can see a full hatch, a full hatch in lights, in reflection of that unknown vehicle. Oh my God. That's too cute. She's so adorable. I just love that little thing. I gotta tell you, I do. She's just adorable. Like, she literally does no wrong here. She wants to chew me up. She chews me up, right? I don't complain about nothing, you know. I just deal. I just look at her cute little face. She's, you know, I'm telling you guys, for a puppy, I don't know if it's because I'm always around her, you know, it's easier to train her, you know, being around her all the time. But I have to tell you, she doesn't chew any. Like, I've had papers on my bed all day. Remember the first time I did the court stuff, and I said, I looked down and like my folder, the papers in my folder had nibbles all over. It's all QB's, you know, court paperwork. She didn't even touch the paper. Like, she's learning. She still gets into the tissue. There's tissue all up under my bed. I just saw it. I just pulled out there was stuff, you know, that fell behind the end table. I had to pull all that out today, sweep under that, you know, get that cleaned up. It's hard to get under the bed because I don't really have anything that goes under there, and there's a lot of stuff, so I'm having to get a flat, like, broom thing and try to push some of that tissue. I don't know where the heck she got all this tissue, but now it's like in 1,000 different pieces. I looked under the bed, I'm like, you know, there's only one thing under the bed. It's a little plastic thing that your bed and the bag come in. Well, I had the bed skirt that's still in that bag, and so I just shoved it up under the bed. There's nothing under there. You should be able to see from the front of the head, or the footboard, all the way to the front of the headboard. And usually it's like that, but now I see, like, my slippers are all the way in the middle of my slippers and tissue, and I'm like, oh. And it's so hard because I got the armoire, and you can't get like a broom. It's got to be something that swivels. You can't get the broom all the way up under there. It's got to be something that swivels and has a short nub hand, because then I can get up. Anyways, long story. So, but we have some issues with the light sources, and we have some issues. I think everybody, all the professionals that I've watched on here that I actually respect, not these yahoos on these crap true crime channels. I'm talking about, the Jennifer Coffendaffers, the Peter Hyatts, the the brown lady. I really like listening to them because these are the people that I've seen, on Court TV back in the day, on Forensic Files or one of those types of shows. These are people I've seen for many years, and I trust their work. They were highly respected when they were in the top of their game. Most of them are retired now. They've turned to social media to talk about their experiences and apply those experiences they have to these true crime cases. So I really like listening to them, and it sounds like all the professionals believe that whatever happened inside that home, they believe happened around 10 o'clock when that first phone call was received by Chris. That is what I'm hearing. So they had a 3-hour conversation. She was the last one to speak to him before he went to bed. And then she speaks to her husband for 2.5 hours, and then it's lights out again, right? I got to tell you, it's very hard for me to be sleeping on a couch for an hour, right? That's what it sounded like. She slept on the couch for an hour, hour and a half while her husband was on the phone. That's what she's trying to make people to believe. But after 2 hours of sleep, when I wake up, I'm rested. Okay, I get a second wind. It's not one of those things where I can wake up, do some stuff around the house and then go lay down and fall right to sleep. That's just my body. Now, I don't know if she's like that or not. But I just find it odd that she tells Duchess she fell asleep on the couch at 10, and then her husband interjects to make things crystal clear to say that she called him at 9:43. Who calls somebody when they're going to be going literally to sleep in 17 minutes? And how is realistic is it that somebody's going to stay on the phone with you while you're sleeping? For over an hour before they start screaming in the phone to wake you up and tell you to go to bed. I mean, that story is in my opinion is hard to believe for me. It's hard to believe that statement for me because it doesn't make sense. I mean, even if we were to apply, and I know I have a lot of truck drivers' wives and husbands for that matter, and some of the husbands are truck drivers as well. And they stated that, with the long distance, they have to, make things work when their spouse is on the road. So one of the things that they do is spend a lot of time in the evening on the phone with their significant others so they can get kind of caught up on the day and talk to them, So I do believe there is this separation with the work thing and them being on the phone a lot. But I don't know if they've ever had that type of conversation for that long at night, because in the Smiley story interview, she wasn't very clear on that. She was bouncing all over the place, almost contradicting herself because she says, no, we sit at dinner and we sit, I usually put them on the speakerphone, and then just literally the next sentence, she's like, yeah, well, I wait until after Sebastian goes to bed before I, call, when we're ready to go to bed and go to sleep. And it's like, which is it? And why couldn't she clarify when she was being asked that? It just to me doesn't make sense. So we have some problems there. I want Seth Rogers cleared. I'm pushing for Seth Rogers to be cleared because of many things. One is that he was at work at the time his son disappeared. He's on camera everywhere. They know exactly where he was and what he was doing the entire time he was at work. He's not involved. That's why he should be cleared, because he's not involved. They've had access to his financial records and everything like that. They know he's not involved. And when you're not involved in a crime, you should be cleared, right? You shouldn't be under a cloud of suspicion when you've committed no crimes. Secondly, I don't trust Sumner County. Okay? I have no trust and literally no faith whatsoever in Sumner County's ability to solve this case. We have Seth. Seth has asked multiple times, is somebody from the other side of the family working in their department, and they will not let him know one way or the other. But we definitely see the pool that the other side of the family has. Not just judges, district attorneys, and detectives. It is a very concerning environment that the Sumner County has created and cultivated in this case. A father should have transparency that there's no monkey business going on in his son's case, and they refuse to provide that to him, all the while trying to silence my voice. I don't trust them, and I feel that it would be beneficial for Seth to have a seasoned detective look at his son's case. That seasoned detective is Chris McDonough and the Cold Case Foundation. I think that that is absolutely 100% crucial for Seth. Crucial to provide suggestions to Seth on trying to find and locate his son. He has a huge and an amazing resume, much different than the detectives and the people running this investigation. Chris McDonough has been involved in over 300 homicide investigations. His knowledge, his experience is something that Seth needs. The rules of engagement for the Cold Case Foundation, however, is if law enforcement asks them to come in, which we know because we don't trust Sumner County, they're not going to have anybody help them. They got this, right? This county that seems to arrest innocent people and lets the guilty ones go. We have some problems. And those problems are becoming very public. Very public. We need somebody that has a different resume take a look at Seth's case. So the only other way we can get the Cold Case Foundation is if one of the parents are cleared. And I don't foresee how the mom and the stepfather could possibly get cleared, knowing that the mom was the last one to be with this boy before he disappeared. Okay, it doesn't make sense, especially since they don't have any video of him walking out the house. It's a very problematic situation. So with that being said, we've got problems, right? And things are stinking to high heaven. Things are stinking to high heaven. We just want answers. I want an innocent father to have peace of mind that his son's case is getting a fair shake. And right now, I don't have that ability or that confidence. We know darn good and well Sumner County will never ask for help because that's arrogance, pompousness. And if I've seen nothing but that being displayed, I absolutely feel that that is being displayed front and center and in the public. We have more on this case than Summer Well. Yes. There's so much in this case. And for the rest of us that are out here that have seen, again, great policing, we're looking at this and saying, this boy is not getting a fair shake. This boy is not getting the attention he needs. These people messed up this case, and I'm talking about law enforcement out the gate, and still messing it up to this day. I will not be happy until forensics are done in that house and done thoroughly. At this point, 6 months, nobody's seen this kid, and you can't find probable cause. the DA can't find probable cause for an actual forensic search of the last place this child was seen? I am very concerned here. We do this for a living. We watch this all over the country. I've never heard of no nonsense like this. No nonsense like this. I don't know what's going on. But you know what? I can tell you that it appears that this law enforcement body is working for parents, but working for the parents that were the last people to see this child alive. And that concerns me. That concerns me greatly. And they don't like the waves of the actual innocent person that was at work, that just got off of work, checked out of work, and realized his whole entire world was just flipped upside down. In small communities like this, you know, they rely on votes, right? Votes matter in small communities. Votes matter. Votes matter. So they have a tendency of pandering to their voter base as opposed to doing the right thing in some cases. I'm not saying that's happening in Sumner County. I believe that's happening in Sumner County, but I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. So I just want it to be very, very known, you know, all citizens deserve to be treated with respect. All citizens, whether they're voters or not. They are still taxpayers in your community. I know I was. They still deserve respect and dignity, which Seth isn't getting. And so I'm very, very, very disappointed. I have lack of hope when it comes to Sumner County. And there's many reasons why. We've all seen it. We all know why we don't have hope in Sumner County, because of their shenanigans, because of their BS, because of them worrying more so about a media person than they are about a 15-year-old missing child that's their community member. To me, that's disgusting. There's no place in America for that kind of policing. There's no place in America for that kind of policing. They need to get focused back on Sebastian and finding out what the heck happened to this child in their community, which they have failed to do. They have failed to bring this child home. They have failed to even provide a scintilla of information to their community, whether or not this child was abducted. Literally abducted from his house and from his bed. They will not give their community peace of mind. Their community reaches out to me on the daily, concerned about what is going on with their police department. I didn't believe it. I have a front row seat in it now. I absolutely believe 100% of what everybody was warning me about at the beginning of this case with this very law enforcement agency. We have to be cognizant that something is not right here. We've never seen this happen in any other case but this one. It seems like everybody, from this mom and stepfather to law enforcement, are doing damage control and self-preservation actions. It is very, very concerning for somebody like me. We need to clear Seth. They need to clear Seth. We're going to be out there in October. We're going to be doing another gathering of voices in October in front of the Sumner County Sheriff. We're going to have the same type of signs. Clear Seth Rogers. If you see something, say something, and we want justice. Be the same type of event. It's just going to be a lot better. We're going to have sign waving on the corner. We'll still have our cake. Depending on law enforcement's behavior, this next trip there, they might just get a thank you card. We'll see. We'll see. So we have to start working on that. We've got to start doing mail campaigns to their district attorney. We got to start doing mail campaigns or phone campaigns. It doesn't really matter because it sounds like their phone campaigns are very effective in this county. So that might be what we need to do, but we're going to start demanding SETH be cleared, or if they don't want to clear SETH, fine. Then request the Cold Case Foundation to come in and review the case. Thank you, SETH. Bring Sebastian home, justice for Sebastian. And that's the only way that the community should settle. When they bring in the Cold Case Foundation, they can preemptively request the Cold Case Foundation to review this. Not have to worry about clearing SETH, right? Because at the end of the day, why do we want to clear SETH? So we can get the Cold Case Foundation to look at this case. I want the Cold Case Foundation. Everybody should want the Cold Case Foundation. 300 homicide cases, one of their detectives have been involved in. That's just one. There's many law enforcement agents that make up the Cold Case Foundation. That resource is invaluable in a case like this. Invaluable. Oh, hey, River. It's nice to see you, my love. And not only that, but whenever you are a sheriff, don't you think it's prudent of you to literally turn over every stone possible if you're telling everybody you're turning over every stone? Right? We want justice. We want to find out what happened to Sebastian Rogers. We started this case by request, and we're continuing this because we're passionate and tenacious for truth and answers, which a lot of people hit their head and went on the crazy train and don't really care about the truth and only care about monkey effing this case up. And it's sad that these people I used to stand next, side by side with, that I used to think were good. And now I see how evil and deranged people can be, all for money and clicks and views. It's a sad day on YouTube when the true crime genre literally comes crumbling to its knees. But it's not. We realize that's trauma, right? This other thing. Everybody wants drama and crime. I don't do it. I hate drama, quite frankly. I'm pulled into it. I defend myself. I definitely give it back. If you can deal with it, if you can deal it, you should be able to take it. That's my philosophy, right? So this boy needs help. His father needs help. He's not getting any help from Sumner County Sheriff. SETH, if you're still in the room, are you getting any help from Sumner County Sheriff looking for your son? Have they been any benefit to you as a father of a missing boy? I mean, outside of going through your personal life, and talking to you about BS that has nothing to do with them. Not really. Not really. The trust in the Sumner County area has got to be an all-time low. I can tell you, I have never in my life said I do not trust a law enforcement body. Maybe I'll say, I don't really care for that. I ask more questions than I get answers. Yeah. I may say, oh, well, I didn't really like how this officer did. I've never said any. I'm back the blue kind of chick. I've always believed that law enforcement is good and they do the right thing all the time. That's what I expect from law enforcement. I expect them to uphold the law, not violate it. And when I start seeing a law enforcement agency violate the law, it really gives me pause, especially when we have a missing 15-year-old child that doesn't appear to be going anywhere because they messed up a lot. I think what they're trying to hide is that they did not follow the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. They dropped the ball. They dropped the ball, and it's going to cause a lot of problems and delays in finding out the truth. So they can keep locking Betty up, but you know what? At the end of the day, it ain't changing the facts of this. It ain't changing how stinky this looks. It ain't changing their reputation in a public eye. I can tell you that. I feel bad for SETH too. because I would have never believed this if it didn't happen to me, you know? But there's something not right there. There's just something not right there, guys. I'm telling you, I do not have a good feeling about this sheriff's department at all. I've never been in a position like this, but I can tell you, out of all the crazy shit I've done in my life, this is the one time I didn't do any salacious, crazy, even, borderline, could I have been, up to that line? There was none. I was like, I was a football field past that line. I made sure everything was covered, that there was no possibility of me getting in trouble in this community. And here we are. And it's because we got some snakes. And you know what? We're seeing who the snakes are. We've got reports. We know whose names are on those reports. We need Seth cleared. We need Seth Rogers cleared. If we're going to find Sebastian, Seth Rogers has to be cleared, and other eyes have got to get on this case. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Take it for what you guys will, right? All right, guys, don't forget to rock it out with your coffee beans out. I've got a sleepy, the puppy is she didn't even whimper. She just laid on the rug and just ended up falling asleep. She's so cute. She's just so cute. She's my baby. Oops. She's my baby. Look at that. She's out like a light. She's out like a light. I bet you if I get up and move, she's going to wake up. She watches me like a hawk. Me and her like BFFs, right? I don't go anywhere without her. Nowadays, I don't even go. I don't leave the house without her. If I leave here now, even going to like Walmart and stuff, she goes with me. I have a little satchel that goes over and she sticks in there and she puts her little paws out and just. And she's just looking at everybody, and it even has a little thing so she can't just jump out of it and stuff like that or fall out. But she just now her and I go everywhere together. The only thing I have is like, will she be able to make it 12, 13 hour? Obviously not in the car, we'll have to stop, but I don't know what her bladder is, because the way I drive now is, especially to Tennessee, I've got it down pat. It takes me 3 stops, right? It takes me 3 times stopping to fill up the tank. And every time I stop to fill up the tank is when I go to the bathroom. And so if I can schedule her on my potty breaks, I'll be in heaven. I'd be in heaven. So, all right, guys, Seth needs to be cleared. Bring more resources. Exactly. So I just want to thank the people here. I haven't been over to this side, so I just want to say thank you to Cinda. Thank you so much for becoming a member. Ren, smash that like button. Don't forget to smash the like button. Ren also donated 5 Bullhorn Betty gifted memberships. If you received your gifted membership, please don't forget to tell her thank you. Nick, thank you for the lemon head and the I don't know, what is it, a trumpet? I love it. I love it. I love it. Chat said, the BB Bish called your attorney. It doesn't matter. She called from Pennsylvania. I'll file a lawsuit against her there. Like, I'm over these people. I don't know who called the attorney. I don't really care. It's been resolved. These people are just evil. You guys see them attacking me, stalking me online and offline. Everything that I have put in Queen Bee's complaint, you guys are watching true, because they can't hide it anymore, nor are they trying to. Right? You guys see them following me. Like, a lady was literally following the wrong freaking car, saying I was coming out of the Waffle House the last time I was there. I never ate at any Waffle House. Just saying. Not only that, but I was never alone. From the time I got there to the time I left, I was with Tony or the real Me Too. I wasn't even alone. I wasn't even driving my vehicle. Like, this lady was literally stalking somebody completely, not me. That's some sick, twisted stuff. Just saying. Ginger Girl, thank you for becoming the newest member. You've already been part of the family forever, so. Barbosa gifted 5 Bullhorn Betty memberships as well. Don't forget to tell her thank you if you received your gifted membership from Barbosa. Stephanie, prayers for the family. Thank you. And Kat, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. God bless you all. I hope you guys have a wonderful Sunday night. We're going to rock it out with our coffee beans out. Next week is a new week for all of us to kind of shake off this last week and put our positive hat on for the new week. And that's what we're going to do. And we are going to continue keeping this victim focused and keeping it fact focused. People will not take away my right to speak. People will not tell me I can't tell people when they're messing up. I will absolutely do it. I will not hold my tongue when I have broke no laws and they're trying to silence my voice. And that is what is going on here. We all know it. We all watched it. We all witnessed it. And if they can do this to me, what are they doing in Sebastian's case? That's the bigger question. What are they doing in Sebastian's case? We're going to be finding out. God bless.